The issue with owning a 1987 that's in pieces are the availability of components. One of the biggest challenges on this bike has been this thing here, this tank. It's just arrived from the USA, a special box that I can't believe it's here, and I hope it's in one piece. This is in a rough state. So underneath this red stuff is the original color. So that's the original orange color which we want, and it's gonna be painted red. We've got a lot of restoration work ahead of us. But there you go, folks. I'm really excited about this. This is a major part of the 87 Restoration Challenge. Oh my goodness, we're gonna have to dig deep. Found this little brown stuff. I thought this was paint, but it's actually not. It's destabilized plastic. This thing has been sitting in the sun or something, and it's quite deep. So I'm gonna have to attack it with something quite aggressive and just see what I've got underneath there, because otherwise it's not looking that good. And all the seals. Oh yes, there we go. Damaged clutch cover. So let's see, there we go. It's original rings. A little bit of rust on them, not that it'll be any problem. There we go. There's an OEM part. This is the bit that I was after. This entire shipment, the drama I went through with this. Let's have a look. Nice. He really gave that a good clean before he sent that, didn't he? Seen some days. We've got some work to do on this. Going to do the same with this one. Hot, 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 hot. Well, I'm a bit frustrated with myself. I'm going to have to buy a new inner pressure plate, unfortunately, because I buggered this one. Well, yes, I know, but I'm trying to save as much as I can and I've got a workshop where I can make tools. Yeah, this is how you learn. I've just got to accept it. This is now cleaned up and all the plastic steel taken off. It's going to get a proper job. I'm going to rebuild all that. All the bolts are free, nothing stripped, thank goodness. today I'm going to be trialing the sanding, the finishing of the surface. I'm going to use a non-OEM part, which is still good enough to use, but I'm going to see if I can get this done the way the original was. At least the scratches are out and we can give it some machinery here for a change. These scratches I had to make because this was so oxidized with dark stuff, as you saw. I had no choice but to scratch the top layer of plastic off, probably 0.5 millimeter of material, so quite a lot. You can see that rough stuff. Now, I just want to assure you that there's no way that I'm going to be sanding through any of this. Using the orbital, which is obviously the easiest one, at 80 grit, cleaned off or leveled off the surface of scraping that I had to do by hand. This gets rid of those deep scratches, this gets rid of the stains. It is the most important part. I may as well try and blend that piece in there. If you haven't got one of these, I suggest you get one of these if you're going to do plastic work. It's got a bird edge to it. That's a lot better than it was. So let's see what was achieved. It looks fairly uniform now. Tonight's job is going to be to try and fill in that. So there's the donor part. As clean as I'm going to get it. So you want to heat up the contact area, otherwise the piece that you add in will just fall out. Moving fast, don't overheat it. Let's get that all tidied up. That's feeling good. And just shape that. Now I'm going to put a heat gun over that. I'm happy that unless you get real close to it, you might just not spot it, which would make me a very happy man. Of course, to rectify my mistake, there's only one of them around that I could find. So I think I found the problem with why this casing is not coming off. Haha. This was the problem here. That when the chain broke off and smashed the casing and swirled its way around and basically fluted out like a trumpet, so it wouldn't allow this through. So luckily I was able to get access to it, that's for sure. Now, to my untrained CR500i, but I'm learning, that at least I can say that this is virtually brand new. That is immaculate. However, that is not. And so we're going to strip this out, replace all the bearings. I'm going to replace these bearings anyway because I bought them. This case obviously is damaged, and I have to make a plan about whether it's cheaper to send it away, or do I buy a second-hand one or a new one to learn the skill of TIG welding, because I've not done any TIG welding before. I'm at a point now where I'm going to the 1200. I actually can't believe I've got to this point. This tank was a complete mess. It was one of the worst tanks I think I've ever seen plastic wise. It was a disaster, but I think we've managed to save it. I'm going to stick to 1200, then to 2000, and then I'm going to polish buff with the lamb's wool, which I'll show you at the end. And I mean, if it's terrible, I'll have to start again. I've basically failed at this. It's not good. You can see the scratch marks on there. Is no good. This hasn't worked. Some things really need to be reinforced, and that is that if you're scraping a tank back, you're going to start at whatever grade you can get, or a scrape or whatever. You're going to literally, you're shaping, and then you are left with some deep scratches. Here's the thing, you really need to start at 400. 400, generally speaking, is the right grid to get rid of just about any scratches on the surface. And that's what so many of the guys have been showing us, just haven't explained necessarily, certainly I haven't been hearing that, is that anything lower than 400 will cause you a lot of extra work to get rid of the scratches you would have got rid of anyway with 400. So next time you see me, I'm going to be doing this. I have another question for my wonderful subscribers who seem to know so much more than me about these things. You can see on the rails here just how much damage there is to the surface. I mean, they're quite knocked around. I mean, this one is actually dipped in completely. So this obviously a well-used frame. I don't want to restore something as nice as this bike and have these dents here. So I would really appreciate some of your comments. Let me know what you think. I will be most grateful. All right, the chassis paint has just arrived. For those who are interested in the roll color, here in the UK, we got this mixed by a company called Metal Flake. And this is the orange. There were two choices, but this one seemed to be the one that most people said was the correct color. I wouldn't be surprised if they slightly changed over a period of time. Things never stand still. But yeah, so we'll run this one through and get this frame done. Looking at the teeth, you can see they're in good condition. They've still got the taper. The taper's not worn. So although this is new, this has been sitting around. Let's get this cleaned up. actually, in a way, I prefer this one. This is a tighter tolerance. This thing looks brand spanking new. Today's a good day because I've just received the casing back